Hi, and welcome to Empowered Marketing by Professor Hines. This podcast is devoted to beginning marketers and owners of small businesses. We're here to help you learn social media marketing. Each episode presents important elements in social media marketing that you can use in your campaigns to generate better results, especially more business. Empowered Marketing is exclusively sponsored by A-Cubed Marketing Services in Orange County, California. A-Cubed Marketing Services serves small and mid-sized businesses in the areas of strategic marketing consultation, social media marketing using all forms of social media, campaign creation and management in both paid and owned media, pay-per-click campaigns, search engine optimization, graphic design, and videography. A-Cubed Marketing is owned and managed by me, Professor Joe Hines. My experience includes over 20 years of Fortune 100 corporation marketing management, as well as 10 years of academic work as professor at California State University Fullerton, Concordia University, Biola University, Cal Baptist University, and Fullerton College. You can find out more about A-Cubed Marketing Services. Use the link on the homepage of this podcast or call A-Cubed Marketing at 714-872-0561. Hi, I'm Joe Hines. This episode is number 1 in our series called Empowered Marketing. In today's episode, I'm setting the stage for the rest of the podcast and your full learning experience, discussing the social media environment, key players, and other important fundamentals that you'll really want to understand in order to be as effective as you can be with your future campaigns. So let's get rolling by stepping into my classroom at Whittier College, where we'll pick up the first night of class. Yeah, man, it's changing fast. It's changing all the time, you know. Unless you stay on Facebook and work with it continually, you're always wondering, where did they put stuff, you know, and what's different and how do I do it now, you know, just as one example. When I graduated, I went to Cal State Fullerton and I graduated in 1989, so, you know, it's quite a while ago now. And there was no internet, no smartphones, no social media, no SEO. I mean, none of the technology that has really begun to, or has come to dominate what we're going to be doing all semester, none of it was here. So, you know, you talk about staying current with changes, you know, I mean, and it's going to continue to be that way through the course of your guys' careers for the rest of your lives. The rate of change is only going to move faster, you know, which means for you guys that you're going to have to continue, you're going to have to become continuous learners. You're going to have to be ready to adopt and change and move and, you know, or you're not going to have a career. That's just the way things are these days. It can make you really strong. It can make you really good because you have to stay sharp. But it means that you got to be prepared for that too, you know. So I'll tell you a little bit about me. Like I said, I graduated in '89 from Cal State Fullerton. I went to work in industry right away. I worked in the food industry for a long time with a company called ConAgra. I don't know if you're familiar with them. Big, huge. They have 30,000 employees. They do about $30 billion a year. And I was director of marketing there for about 15 years. And then I went to DeVry University, where I was also director of marketing for them. And that was really where I started to really kind of get into the technology, the social media aspect of things, because it was all about generating student leads. I don't know if you guys, as you were looking at schools, if DeVry was probably an option for you guys. I would take it not, because they don't have a particularly great reputation in education. But if you may have been contacted at one time or another by one of their recruiters. So my job was to help the organization come up with new leads all the time, which was definitely an internet function. In 2013, I saw an opportunity and I took it and I went to work for myself and I started my company. So this year marks my 30th year as a marketer. Yeah, and it's gone by like that, really, really fast. That's something else you guys are going to discover is just how fast life moves. Man, it flies. So I've kind of learned, when I started into, doing my own thing, my idea was to do something like what I had been familiar with. So that would have been television, radio, print, that kind of stuff. But the whole world had moved and changed, it was all on the internet side. So I had to start from one level and really, adopt all of this new and fresh. I mean, I had it from DeVry, which was great, but now all of a sudden I found myself needing to be able to build websites on my own, not just hire an agency to do it, but actually do it. And search engine optimization and social media. And then when you run your own company like I do, I've been running campaigns for our business. Just recently, for instance, we put out a couple of green screen type videos. It's just me doing a vlog, basically. And in 2.5 weeks, I generated 8,000 views. So that feels pretty good, and our phone's ringing and we're getting leads and more sites, more visitors to the site and all of that. So I not only do I teach this stuff, but I do it for clients and I do it for my own business. So hopefully everything that we talk about in here is going to be real world hands-on stuff that you're going to be able to, when you're done with this class, you could farm yourselves out as, as an independent, and start trying to do business on your own with small companies around town. We're going to build a website by the end of the semester. You're going to have built your own social media campaigns. You'll be writing blogs. I mean, everything that you typically would do, you guys will have done by the time we're done. Okay? So, because to me, I feel like that's how you learn the best, When I got out of college and I had to go to work in industry, I had like this big head full of head information, but I had never really actually done anything. So it turned out that I didn't know shit from Shinola. I had to now all of a sudden learn it. I mean, really learn it. And the best way to learn anything, I think, tell me if you disagree, but I think the best way to learn anything is just to jump in there and start doing it. Are you with me? Totally. So, with that as sort of a preface, I want to start walking you guys through the syllabus, kind of looking forward as to how things will work and what we're going to do, okay? Let me open that up. Tonight we're going to talk about Chapter 1, among other things, okay? So here is our syllabus. Think about this for a second. Almost 80% of all of the companies in the United States are small businesses. Chances are you're likely go to work at some time in your life for a small business. And if you're on the marketing side, you're going to end up wearing a lot of different hats, okay? The things that you learn in here, you can put to work right away. And what's really awesome is that the big guys, the really major corporations like where I used to work, are using the exact same tactics that little businesses can now use every day. All of a sudden, the big hurdles, the big things that were gaps between the way little businesses could operate and market themselves and the way that the big, huge guys do it, that gap has kind of eroded. It's gotten much, much smaller now. We can all compete on a similar level. That's really cool because it's very affordable. I mean, it's super affordable and it's super trackable, which is another really great thing to know about the stuff. So, hang on to that. Big portion of your grade is going to be this semester-long project. It'll be a written paper, and it's also going to be in the last 2 weeks of the semester, your team presenting it, okay, to the rest of the class. So we'll have 2 weeks of oral presentations. So you'll write a paper and you'll do a PowerPoint. Mostly, I don't want to make this thing a hurdle with lots of needless homework. I really want to make the stuff that we do in here something that you can take right away and take to a future employer and say, hey, look, here's my portfolio of stuff that I've done. Let me show you. See, I'm ready to go for work, to go to work for you right now. But the quantitative skills that we're going to do will be looking at the insights section of the platforms. So Facebook has a whole analytical section to it. Have you guys ever seen it? And it'll show you how many people have gone to your site, how many people reacted to your post, how many people liked it. In fact, we're going to do in a couple of weeks, as we start getting into our project, something we call a social media audit, where you're going to look at the subject of your paper, and you're going to compare it to the competition that your subject faces, and you're going to take a look at the activity, and we'll talk about that later. But it's all about the numbers. A business, marketing, is not something you can do without understanding the numbers. Have you ever gone to the doctor? The first thing they do is they want to take your temperature. They want to take your blood pressure. Maybe they're going to pull a blood sample. Why? Because they have to get underneath the hood, so to speak, in order to understand what might potentially be wrong with the client. It's the same thing in business. We have to be able to look at, and the beautiful thing about internet is everything is infinitely trackable now. Every time we click, it's measured. But we have to be able to understand, are we successfully achieving the goals that we set out for ourselves? So understanding the numbers is a big thing, and we'll get to that. Anyways, let's kind of get down into this. So week 1, that's tonight, we're doing an introduction, and we're going to look at chapter 1. Next week, the 16th, chapter 2, it's about market segmentation, and they call them nodes. Let me show you. Okay, this is you, and on your Facebook page, let's say. And this is your friend, and your friend, and your friend, okay? This connection between you and your friend named Z over here is called a node. This is a link, okay? And the whole internet is based on a network like that. The reason that social media can even work, and the reason that it's so efficient, is because in the old days, if you were trying to advertise and influence people with radio and television, you said, okay, what is the total size of the audience? Oh, well, maybe it's 10 million people watching Seinfeld or something, right? All right. Well, a big chunk of those people are not going to watch the ads. Because when do the ads happen? They stop the show, so we're no longer interested anymore. When they stop the show, people get on the phone, they get up, they go to the kitchen, they go to the John, whatever they're doing. But they're certainly, for sure, not really paying attention to the advertising, to the thing that actually allows the networks, the television networks, to show us the ads, right? So what did I just pay for? On the other hand, there's nothing called social influence. Remember that term for a second, social influence. But now, in social media, let's say that there's a brand, and the brand has a page, and on the page, they put a post. Now, at some point in time, because you like this brand, let's say it's Nike, or let's say it's your favorite football team, the Steelers, right? Whatever, right? Let's say that you liked their page. Well, because you liked their page, every time they put a post out there, you get it in your news feed, right? You see it. Okay. Well, let's say that here's you, and you're connected to it. This is you. Now you've got all your friends that are feeding into you also. Let's say that you really liked this post, so you decided, you know what, I'm going to share that. Now all of a sudden, it's not necessarily coming from the brand. You yourself have endorsed that information. If I hear information from a brand, I'm likely to think, you know what, this information that I'm getting, it's a little bit not trustable. Why? Because the people that are paying for the advertising have a vested interest in me thinking that, this is true and accurate information. Well, I already don't believe it. I don't believe advertising in general. Do you guys believe advertising that you see all the time? Heck no, right? None of us do. All right, so what happens? Well, all of a sudden, if you are the person that shared that post, all of your friends who see it go, oh, look, Joe liked it. Joe must have experienced it. I can trust Joe because I know Joe. We're friends on Facebook. Maybe I haven't seen Joe personally for months or even years, but I used to know Joe in another way. I've got a relationship. This guy is trustable, right? And all of a sudden now, their information that was on their page got to me, and because it got to me, it got to all the people that are connected to me, and all they had to do was reach out and connect with a few people. And when they made those connections with those few people, and those people grabbed it and did something with it, they, quote, engaged with that information, it all of a sudden gets this halo of trustability around it, and it explodes out across this network. Are you familiar with the theory of the 6 degrees of separation? Have you guys ever heard that before? Okay. It means that, if you are not familiar with it, it means that everybody on planet Earth is no more than 6 connections away. So like how many of you guys have a LinkedIn page? Everybody. So you might have a first level link to somebody. I mean, this is somebody that you know sometimes. A second level one is, it's not a direct link, but I know a guy who knows a guy, and that's the connection. Well, I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, and number 6, who knows a guy. All of a sudden, the whole planet is connected. That's pretty big, isn't it? Considering that we're 5 billion people or so these days? Maybe we're 7, I'm not sure. But anyway, you can see how powerful that is. And that's why social media is so effective at reaching people. Because for a very low investment, I just told you that I got 8,000 people to watch this video that I put up in the last 2 weeks. You know what I spent to get that done? $35. $35, and I've got 8,000 people that have now seen my content. You couldn't do that with television, radio, print. No way. No way, no how. For $35, can you do anything? And all of a sudden, and then a lot of people that have seen it have liked it, have commented on it, and when they did that, their friends saw it, and so it's reputation building, right? It's about influence. So each of us has influence, and the influence that we have is what gives these brands this personal endorsement. This podcast, Empowered Marketing by Professor Hines, is exclusively sponsored by A-Cubed Marketing Services in Orange County, California. In business since 2013, A-Cubed Marketing offers a complete suite of internet marketing services, including strategic marketing consultation, social media marketing using all forms of social media, campaign creation and management in both paid and owned media, pay-per-click campaigns, search engine optimization, graphic design, and videography. A-Cubed Marketing is owned and managed by Professor Joe Hines. His experience includes over 20 years of Fortune 100 corporate marketing management, as well as 10 years of academic work as professor at California State University Fullerton, Concordia, Biola, Cal Baptist University, and Fullerton College. Find out more about A-Cubed Marketing Services. Use the link on the homepage of this podcast or call A-Cubed Marketing at 714-872-0561.